Hey everyone, back to you in today's video. We do the October month head forecast today, see what a couple of the seasonal models are showing for the month that we're just starting. Also have a quick sneak peek at the end for November and a review of the September forecast, which really wasn't very inspiring from GapsWeatherVids.com. So do all that in a moment. Just want to say about the ads. There's links to articles sitting underneath the weather video here on my homepage at GapsWeatherVids.com, and the links to articles are on many of the other pages as well. Have a browse through the widget and see if there's any articles that you're interested in. If you are interested in an article, just click through. You'll be able to go off and read it at the website where the article is. Some very interesting articles in there. I've had a look myself, so do have a look through widget and see what that's all about. It's also green keyword ads on some of the pages. If you write green keyword, if you roll your cursor over green keyword, it'll display an ad. But if you click through the word, you go to the advertiser's website. By doing that, you have to support GapsWeatherVids.com. And thanks very much for doing that. So just a quick say about the September forecast. Now, the September forecast was difficult to start off with. I eventually went for average temperatures, average precipitation. I was hedging my bets a bit because I was very uncertain what was going to happen. We had that long run of very warm weather through most of 2014. We got to August and had a much colder month, unsettled month as well. And I really wasn't that certain, and neither were the models really, about where things were going in September. So hedging my bets, I went for an average temperature, average precipitation month. It turned out to be, of course, as we know, one of the driest Septembers on record, and also a very mild month as well, a warm month. Nowhere near the warmest on record, but one of the mildest months for quite a while, mildest Septembers anyway, for quite a while. I haven't actually got the statistics in from Hadley, unfortunately, yet. I was hoping to have a look at Central England temperature, but they've not updated yet for September, so I can't give you the exact CET number, but it's either going to be the warmest since 2011 or 2006. As we know, a very, very dry month as well. So I think you can safely say that the September forecast from GapsWeatherVids was a miss rather than a hit. Let's hope for better in October. So here we are with the CFS version 2 model for October. This is the 700 millibar height anomaly deviation that the model is predicting for this month, for October. And we can see that it's quite a complicated one actually. We've got a trough of low pressure below average heights being signalled around Iceland to the northwest. We've got this ridge in the central part of the Atlantic, so we're running the jet stream through. It implies quite an unsettled month, but the complicating factor is this very large ridge sitting to the east and the northeast. Now this is the one that's been keeping us mainly dry through the course of September. The CFS has it just to the east and the northeast of the country, over Scandinavia and Eastern Europe as we're going through October. It means that the jet stream is running in off the Atlantic. Could be quite a strong jet stream with that Atlantic setup, but it's coming into that ridge seen to the east, and then the jet stream is running northward. So whilst we could have quite an unsettled month through October, it might not be that cold, because with the ridge in that position, it means the flow is generally going to be from a south or southwesterly direction. So I think we're probably looking at warmer than average temperatures, albeit with a much more unsettled precipitation anomaly. Let's have a look at the temperature forecast for October, and we can see that yes, the CFS is going for a warmer than average month. Most parts of Europe having a warmer than average month. The deviation here is anything from around half a degree to, let's say, 2 degrees above average. So somewhere around a degree and a half above average is expected through the course of October. Pretty mild month. That's because that high pressure is sitting to the east and keeping the flow generally from a southerly southwesterly direction. Now the rainfall anomaly, the precipitation anomaly, is coming out wetter than average for October. Significantly wet month being seen here for Scotland, but most places coming out with an unsettled month. So a very strong signal there from the CFS V2 model that we're in for a warmer than average month, but it's going to be again another warmer than average month in 2014. But the difference compared to September is a much more unsettled month. Let's have a look at the Beijing Climate Centre to see what that's showing. These are the 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. This first one is taking us from the 1st to the 10th. We've got a trough of low pressure around Iceland, the ridge in the Atlantic. So that's a very similar Atlantic setup to the CFS, bringing the jet stream through. It's quite a strong jet stream, something like that. But then we've got this ridge out to the east and the northeast once again, just lurking to the east of the country, and that has the effect of pushing the jet stream up like that. Or if I go over here, you can see the jet stream going something like that, and because of that we're keeping the winds in from a south or southwesterly direction, so it's not going to be particularly cold. Now, as we get through towards the middle 10-day period, this will take us from the 11th to the 20th. Little bit of a change. We take the heights more to the north of the country on this one, and we've still got a trough more or less centred over the British Isles this time. So, a little bit of a change there. That could be a cooler scenario for the middle part of the month, the 11th to the 20th. That ridge is being pushed further, going back in towards western parts of Russia. So, I think that's probably still relatively unsettled, but it's probably cooler as well. Certainly, I think the temperatures would be coming down on that sort of a deviation for the middle part of Ober. And then as we move final 10 days of the month, a change again. This one takes us from the 21st to the 30th, and what we see here is that the ridge starts to come back up to the east and the northeast. The trough is being pushed down to the southwest, so the winds there are probably going southeasterly to easterly. Now, an easterly in the latter part of October could be quite chilly actually. You could start to bring in cooler air from the east, but I think overall that's probably still relatively mild. Probably mild by day, could be colder by night perhaps, maybe with risk of frost, fog, mist patches, that kind of thing by night, but by day perhaps not too cold, probably still relatively mild, but the ridge is definitely coming back in there from the east and the northeast as we go through that final 10 days of the month. Now, the temperature deviation from the Beijing Climate Centre is coming out warmer than average again, so it's a strong signal from both of the models that we're going to have a warmer than average month, albeit probably with a risk of cooler conditions later on, particularly at night. The precipitation deviation is coming out on the wetter side of average, not desperately wet. It's not going to be a deluge of a month, but a little bit wetter than average being signalled there. So taking the Beijing and the CFS together, I think we've got a pretty strong signal for a warmer than average month. I think temperatures again are going to be coming out above average during October. It's the rainfall that's a little bit difficult because we're starting off on an unsettled note, but the signal there I think overall is that we could start to build in some more heights from the east again as we get through to the second half of the month. So whilst rainfall probably comes out a little bit above average, I don't think it's going to be a deluge. I don't think we're going to be absolutely flooded out and deluged by heavy rain throughout the whole of the month. I would suspect there'll be fairly extended periods of quite dry weather, perhaps particularly in the second half of October. So rainfall comes out a little bit above average, but not a wet month by any means, I don't think. And temperatures, the signal is pretty good there, I think. The temperatures to again be warmer than average. So that's the GallusWeatherBeats.com prediction for October 2014. It's for another warmer than average month, perhaps by as much as a degree, with rainfall a little bit above average, but certainly not a desperately wet month by any means. We'll see how it goes. We'll review, as always, once we get through to next month. And talking of next month, here's a quick sneak peek from the CFS V2 model for November. Once the chart clicks over, it will click over in a second. There we go. And for November, we've got a very strong signal here for a very deep trough of low pressure to be out to west country. It's been a really strong signal from the CFS V2 for a long time, going for an unsettled November. A deep trough there. The jet stream is a strong jet stream running through. So that's an unsettled November, and I think we'd be looking at quite a lot of heavy rain, maybe even gales at times, with such a deep trough of low pressure. So we'll worry about November when we get to it, but it's been a very consistent signal actually from the CFS-V2 for quite a few months for this unsettled November with a trough, deep trough in the Atlantic. So strong signal for that. But for October, again, just quick to say what we're looking at for October. A warmer than average month, again another warmer than average month in 2014, and in terms of the precipitation, a little bit wetter than average, but with prolonged sort of dry periods within that. Okay, that's it for now. We'll see how it goes and review next month. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.